2 cute DIY cloth doll. Welcome to my full video tutorial. So you have order your easy cloth doll pattern. www.tidyflowerragdoll.com. Your supplies: 1. The pattern. 2. Cloth or scrap fabric. Tracing paper, hot glue gun. Your supplies included with pattern and picture instructions.
So you've collected your fabrics, folded them all. Now on the wrong side of the fabric, place your pattern and just pencil trace it in. If you notice, you only have 2 pieces, a head and the body. With the head, you also notice that I have given you just an illustration of the face on there. That's what makes this so easy. Follow through. Leave openings at the top of the head, at the neck, and at the bottom of the body. The arms and the legs, you're going to get tickled about this. They're simple. You're going to use those pipe cleaners. So let's continue with placing our pattern on the cloth, cutting them out. You've cut it out, and use your sewing machine and stitched, leaving yourself that little seam allowance around it. Now you're going to turn it inside right so you can see the fabric on the right side. Stretch it out, get it in shape. You're working with the body first, and watch me as I put it on my rubber pad. This step is an easy step, but you want to watch it because now it's time for you to pull out that craft stick, the popsicle stick I talked to you about. Here we go. Using that craft stick, the popsicle stick, help push the neck part up, and then once you've got it right at the opening, leave it there. Yes, leave it flat. Watch the video. When working with small material, you need to pull out all of your little instruments or tools that you have to help pull that fabric through. So pull the neck up through where the opening's at, because this is only 6 inches and 3 inches or 2 inches wide. You got that craft stick, or what I call the popsicle stick, in that neck area, and you left it there. Now we're just smoothing it out. We're making sure that all the fabric is turned inside right, and your shoulders are up and the waist is out. Smooth it all out. Now see that craft stick, how I got it sticking up a little bit in that neck area? You have accomplished this. Leave it there, and we're going to lay everything out flat. Using your rubber mat, pin towards the shoulders and flatten out your little body that you're making, because now you want to be able to bring in the glue gun, and you'll need your stuffing, the polyfill. Remember, I told you I only needed a small amount. So let's watch this part. Using your rubber mat, pin towards the shoulders and flatten out your little body that you're making, because now you want to be able to bring in the glue gun, and you'll need your stuffing, the polyfill. Remember, I told you I only needed a small amount. So let's watch this part. Now that you've got the outline of the small body right at the neck area with your hot glue gun, drop a tiny drop on the craft stick, then use your other craft stick to hold it down on the front of the fabric. That's just keeping that craft stick in place until we fill it with the stuffing, the small amount of polyfill. So you have everything smoothed out and kind of organized so you can see the shape in which you have been working on. Everything is shaping up so far. You'll know if you're overstuffing, and you don't need to overstuff it, but just pat it where it's plump. That's what you want, that little plump look on it. Keep everything flat. Notice how I'm smoothing out that polyfill stuffing, just making sure that everybody's getting an even layer of it. Work with it, but remember, don't overstuff. And if you did reinforced stitching on your little small piece, you won't have to worry about it falling or busting out. So if I hadn't iterated that to you, always reinforce your stitching when you're doing small projects like this. Notice I'm pushing a small amount of the stuffing up into that little neck area. You don't have to get all the way up there, but push just a little bit up there. See, so far I told you your DIY is an easy project. You only have the head and the body. It's only going to average out to about 6 inches for the body, and then add on another 3 inches for the head. Also, remember that we are upcycling as much as we possibly can from the studio. We're using scrap fabrics, popsicle sticks, but we're also going to use containers, jars, and I will show you how you're going to put her body on the top of a ribbon container. We're upcycling. This is a small project, but a very cute project. You're happy with that amount of stuffing that you have. We're going to stop here, and I'm going to zoom in closely because we now need to cut, based on the pattern, those slits at the bottom, and I'll zoom in so you'll be able to see that. Also, you know your ribbon, and it comes on that spool, and it's flat. You need that old container, or go ahead and take the ribbon off because you're going to use it for her hair. So have that choice already out. You cut the flap. You cut what I call the skirt flapping. And now you're ready to get your hot glue gun, that ribbon spool topping that you have, and we're going to set that on top of that. I'll zoom in a little closer so you can see it. All right, you saw that ribbon spool where we buy the ribbons and they're in that little round circular and it's about 3 inches. You will lay that flat on your table. Then you'll get your hot glue gun out, put it around the area, and then lift the flappers up on the skirt, set it down on that hot glue using your spatula stick to press everything down. You see the arms are on it, but we'll go over that by itself because it's very simple, very simple. Your body is on that top. It's standing straight up. You glued those flaps down, secured it. Now it's time to move on to some fine part. Notice I didn't overstuff her. It's plump, so everything is solid, and she's standing straight up. You gotta be pleased with that. Now you're ready to create, before you put the arms on and before you put the head on, let's go ahead and create her tooling. The tulle, the very, what we used to call crinoline fabric. And we're going to drape it around her waist, giving her that wonderful ballerina princess Cinderella. I didn't go green. Look, this is part one. We did the body. Now we're going to start part two, where we're going to add on the fun part by putting all of her beautiful clothing on her before we add on her head and her arms. Continue watching. You're on part three. Yes, part three is all about the face and attaching the head. I'm going to just let you watch the video because it's really, really self-explanatory. You note that you can trace your face onto your 3-inch fabric. It's very small, but enjoy experimenting with this. I'll check in with you later. A tip here. I literally sew my pattern onto the fabric so I will have an exact round shaped face. So that's what you're watching right now. And I just cut it out and then I turn the fabric to the right side. My choice of markers for making and painting in the face, I like to use the pastel pencils because you can take a Q-tip and smooth it out. And then I also use what they call the makeup patty case, and it has the yellow and the bronze and the gold in it That's wonderful, and you can brush it on. Then I use a very fine point permanent marker to do my eyes. And as you notice, I have closed her eyes because it's fitting for this particular ballerina doll. Color markers would just be great because this fabric in it is just a basic piece of cotton fabric, and that will absorb it really well. Sometimes the markers do bleed, so you want to test it on the fabric before starting your original product. I like getting my face on and making her makeup on before I stuff it, and everything is flat and I'm able to get it even in the eyes or even in the mouth is even. So some people like to stuff them and paint them right on the ball. To each his own, but I do like just letting it be flat. It's easy to work with. Well, you see how I'm putting the polyfill in it, not overstuffing it. You want that head not so round, not so flat. You'll know if you overstuff it because it won't lay flat on that craft stick, okay? See where I have that opening up at the top? We'll stitch that in or glue, hot glue it in, especially when we start putting the hair on, or as I say, using ribbon, because these are very small, so you can use ribbon to make her hair just cute. In this particular video, I am putting her head on the body without it being closed, her clothing on. I really recommend that you do the clothing first and glue it down to the topper or the lid of a top first before putting the head on. That way you can get all of that fancy stuff on and go over the body really well with all your fancy tooling and your fancy pearls and things. All right, let's keep rolling. You are making progress, and I know it's turning out very, very beautifully for you. I showed you two ways where I did the head and then put it on the craft stick neck and then stop the body and then set it on top of the lid. And then this next one, she's already dressed where you made her earlier. Got her pearls and everything on, and her lace around her arms and everything, and her tooling on. And I lay it down flat, and then I put the head on. And I secure it with a lot of glue, not a whole lot, but enough to make sure that it's down. And then you just want to do your finishing touches on the makeup because it's time to just lay some ribbon on that head. I hope you had fun making my DIY easy pattern. I call them my ballerina toppers or my princess toppers because I glued the body to the top of a lid of a plastic jar, and then you can put all your fun things in it because that fancy skirt is covering that jar. So it's just a fun way. They're only, when you finish with them, 8, not even 7 inches in height of the rag doll, and the hair is ribbon. But it's just a cute, fun, easy DIY, and that's why I've offered you the free pattern where you're receiving the body and the head. Certainly hope that you've enjoyed your DIY with me. Subscribe and stay in touch with me because I'll have more fun DIYs because I like making rag dolls. And we're going to explore into other avenues. Thank you. Subscribe.